In the architecture, we had seen that the entire architecture is made up of following things: an EJB server, an EJB container, an EJB client, the EJB itself, right? So these four can be asked as individual questions also. So each one can come for 5 marks. So next few answers that we are going to have a look at will cover these aspects. So what can be the question? Explain about EJB container, or explain EJB container in brief, or what is the role of EJB container in EJB architecture. So how do you answer all these questions? Certain points you will see that are common from the above answer and this answer, but this answer has to be more elaborate because only container has the weightage of 5 marks. So let us start. As you already know by now that EJB container, it provides you a runtime for the enterprise bean. And all the aspects of EJB's operation are handled by the container. Okay, so you can say that the container acts as a bridge between the user written business logic within the bean and rest of the server environment. Inside one single container, I can have one or more than one EJB modules. EJB container provides us with different services. What are those services? One, it handles the transaction management. So what does it handle in the transaction management? Starting a transaction, committing a transaction, and rolling back the transaction. It maintains a pool of enterprise bean instances. It keeps on moving, it keeps on shifting the instances from inactive pool to the active state. It ensures that the threading condition is satisfied. Synchronization of the data is taken care of by the container. In case you are using the persistent storage, then storing the corresponding data items in the persistent storage is also taken care of by the container. Maintaining a set of active bean instances, it is taken care of by the container. Another thing that the container manages very well is it makes it possible for the application to manage many more bean instances that could otherwise simultaneously be held in the application server's memory. So it keeps on moving the instances in and out of the server's memory as and when they are required. So even if the memory is small, many more instances can be managed because the container is taking care of movement of the instances in and out of the memory. Now, just as we have seen for the container, enterprise bean container, we will see the answer for server and the client also. Okay, again you can go through the kind of questions they are asked or the wordings of the questions. It is also possible that EJB server and client is asked together, or EJB client and EJB enterprise bean is asked together. So multiple things can be asked to you in the question. Read the question very carefully and then write the answer accordingly. So the first thing that we deal with is a server. Now in the entire architecture, server is at the base. So there is a server, on top of the server there is a container, and inside the container obviously there is your EJB. Okay. So the server basically gives you a framework for creating, deploying and managing your enterprise beans. So whatever environment is needed for execution of the applications which are developed using EJB, that environment is provided to you by the server. Now what does the server take care of? Server takes care of allocation of resources. It takes care of security, threading, connection pooling, transaction management, and not only normal transaction management but distributed transaction management, because you know that we can have beans which are on the same machine as EJB, we can have clients which are on the same machine as EJB, and we can have clients which are on the remote machine. Now the next part the server handles is it allows more than one EJB containers to be there on the server. So a single server can have multiple EJB containers. Okay. Now, enterprise beans are reusable modules, and these modules or these components, they are installed on the server, and obviously any number of Java or EJB applications or clients can use the EJBs. Now, who is the EJB client? As we have already seen, EJB client is a standalone application that provides UI logic on the client machine. Now, EJB client makes a call to a remote enterprise component on the server. And the client needs to know two things. What two things it needs to know? How to find the server and how to interact with the component. As I already told you, the clients are remote or local. Remote clients run on different machine and the EJB runs on different machine. Local client के केस में क्या होता है? The enterprise bean as well as the client are on the same machine. Now we are continuously talking about enterprise bean, enterprise bean. What is this enterprise bean? Enterprise bean is a component that is developed using your EJB architecture. You either call it as enterprise Java bean components or you simply call it as enterprise beans. It is a server-side component that encapsulates your business logic. You can combine it with different components to get a custom application development. The main purpose of having EJB was to allow for building distributed components. EJB is a very powerful and sophisticated technology which helps the developers to develop business applications which support large number of users simultaneously. Your EJB components can be assembled and reassembled into different distributed applications as per your requirements. We are looking at the word component again and again. You all know what is component-based application development. The main goal of EJB architecture is to support component-based application development. You write one component. Your business logic is ready. You can place that component anywhere. So for example, a customer bean. Customer bean can be easily assembled into an accounting program. It can be easily assembled into an e-commerce shopping cart system. Wherever you need to represent a customer, you can just incorporate your customer bean there. Okay, so the application development becomes very easy. The next question that we do along with this is a short note on enterprise bean application. Now, if you carefully see this text, you will recognize that this text is already covered in what is EJB. Okay, so this is a common text in both the answers. The unique part of the answer is this. To develop an enterprise bean, we need following facts. The very first is your enterprise bean class. Whatever business logic has to be implemented by the bean, that business logic is incorporated in this class. So you can say that this class implements the business methods of the enterprise bean as well as any lifecycle callback methods which are there. Now, as of now, we don't know about the lifecycle of enterprise bean, so we don't know about the names of the callback methods also, but we will come to know that in a short while. The next thing is business interfaces. Business interfaces will define the business methods which are implemented by your enterprise bean class, and any supporting exception handling or utility classes that you need for the working of your enterprise bean class, that comes under the section of helper classes. That's it for these set of answers. Thank you so much.